Hello everyone, I'm Danish Khan from the Economic Times Telecom, and today we have Mr. Arvind Nevatia, Chief Enterprise Business Officer at Vodafone Idea. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hi Danish, pleasure to be here.
So we are going to discuss the company's enterprise strategy and the focus on the MSME sector, especially when the company has launched specific offerings for the sector. And we will also discuss their ever-evolving needs and requirements. So Arvind has some slides to present to set the context. So let's begin the chat with that. Arvind, stage is yours. Please go on.
Thank you, Danish. And if we can have the couple of slides up, please. It gives me great pleasure, firstly, to connect with you, Danish, and all the viewers and the audience here. We recently celebrated World MSME Day, micro, small, and medium enterprises. And it goes without saying, if we see in the next slide, the relevance and importance of MSMEs being the backbone of our economy, whether we talk about this sector giving employment to almost 110 million, 11 crore Indians employed in this sector, or to the fact that it contributes to almost 30% of the GDP. And not just private enterprises, I think the government also is involved in multiple ways of how to support this MSME sector, especially in the context of the post-pandemic world and some of the stress that this sector has seen in the last 2 to 3 years. So we are very happy at We Business to think about, and also we have been partnering with them for a long time. How do we take this forward, and what is it that is in store for us in the coming days and years? So if I move forward on this context to the next slide, this is our connect with customers and our understanding of their needs. These are broadly the 5 areas that most MSMEs are thinking about right now. First is definitely growth. Getting growth back. How do you drive business growth? How do you readjust to the post-pandemic? Some of them are trying to come back to the pre-pandemic levels of their business. Some of them have shot it and are thinking about the next phase of their growth. And as they grow, they're looking at elements of financial support. How do they get access to credit and capital? They're looking at technology adoption. And I think this is a big piece. It impacts the way they are reaching and they're talking to their customers. It impacts the way they're running their businesses. And in the mix of all of this, they're also looking at, and this is some of the things that we are looking in terms of our interaction with customers, new age needs like running the business with a security element of it as they digitize more and more of their operations. While doing all of this, the entrepreneurs, the small businessman, he has to think about skilling himself. He has to think about skilling his workforce. So these are a few key themes that we see emerging in the MSME space. And if I take all of this put together and the program that we have recently launched last week, moving to the next slide, please, is actually a simple articulation of some of the things that we are doing and we have been doing for a long time, and also taking a couple of our thoughts to the next step with concrete offers and solutions, which is the We Business Ready for Next program. So We Business Ready for Next is actually a program which dovetails a few of the needs of the customers, things which we believe we can partner with them. We can't partner with all their needs, but certain specific needs in their digital journey that we can partner with them. How do you create it into a meaningful proposition? It starts with understanding what is it that they need to do. Where are they on this journey? And therefore, if I move to the next slide, please. This is something that we believe a lot of people, and if I was a small entrepreneur, there would be so much stimulus thrown at me that we should do this and we should do that. Our view is that the first step in this journey is actually evaluation and discovery. And therefore, we are happy to launch this proprietary tool that we have developed along with our partner Dun & Bradstreet, a very reputed agency in this space, which helps our MSME partners and customers evaluate where are they on this journey, whether it comes to digital customers, do they have a digital workplace, or they have the right tools for running a digital business. This gives them some scores. It creates the right thought starter in their mind as to what are the areas that they need to focus on. And therefore, we believe that this is a very important aspect in starting the conversations with our customers, and for customers to start conversations internally, figuring out what they need to do next. So this is the new tool that the team has worked on, and we have launched, and we would be aiming to touch most of our customers, prospective customers who would want to use this for their benefit. And along with not just the tool, along with that, as part of the program, we have also launched some specific offers, which is basically things that they can use at a celebratory kind of a period that we have as MSME Day. And that is briefly outlined in the next slide. Now, whether these are offers that will help them grow their business in terms of cloud telephony solutions that we offer, and therefore a few discounts and then special offers there, or whether it is a secure internet portfolio that we've developed for them, and again, some attractive promotions there, and including the We Business Plus mobility platform that we've created, if they want to look at targeting their customers, outreaching them through the SMS platform. So this is a flavor of a little bit of the exclusive MSME offers that we have created. So I just wanted to kind of bring this to life, nothing in too much detail, but just to set the context going as to how we are looking at this sector, very in a partnership model, and therefore just to kind of wrap it up in the next slide, what we call that this program as We Business Ready for Next Digital Evaluation, Business Advice, and of course, partnership with the products and solutions that we have. So this was a small bit, Danish, from our side, and I'm open for your questions and conversation, therefore.
Right. So yeah, obviously I've seen the slide. So while you gear up to serve the needs of MSMEs, what are the challenges faced by those startups and small medium businesses? Because your offering also includes security as a service. So is security one of the biggest pain points for MSMEs? And like other than security, which are the other requirements? While this is a one packaged kind of a service, what are the other requirements of MSMEs right now in the country, which a telco like Vodafone Idea can address?
Danish, I believe that, and when we talk of MSME, one of the things that we need to keep in mind that we are talking of a very large population. So by official count, there are 60 million plus, and we are talking of a huge fragmented spread in terms of revenue, in terms of profile, geography, industry vertical. Therefore, there is no one big piece of element which kind of is applicable for all of them. But I think two or three themes which emerge, as you mentioned, challenges, or I would also say the flip of it, which are opportunities for them. Most MSMEs in the pandemic period realized that if they had a pure offline business, and if your stores are shut down, and if you have no way of reaching out to customers, that is obviously a key detriment to their business. A large base of these customers are realizing that we need to move to, if omni-channel is too big a word, I would say at least a duo channel or a multi-channel environment. And hence elements like some of the basic things of creating a connectivity platform which enables them to reach out to their customers digitally, whether we are in a situation of creating elements of customer outreach, having digital payment solutions. So as a business, and this is the kind of stuff that we have put in our tool, that you could be, say, on a spectrum, you could be at a very low end to medium or high, that some of these basics in terms of digital payment solutions, a digital outreach, a business domain. So as an example, we now have partnered with Google Cloud in India to give Google Workspace along with our We Business mobility platform. So there would be a set of customers who have a crying need of ensuring that they're reaching out to their customers. The second piece, as I mentioned, in our research and our understanding, is a lot about credit and capital, which is not so much of a direct domain for us, but that is clearly a challenge and an opportunity that they are facing. And the third is security. So when I say security, it is possibly those who have taken the first few early steps. And as you are getting onto that journey and creating domains and having digital platforms, you of course start thinking about security, because security breach can happen not only to large organizations, they can happen to smaller organizations also. So this is hitherto a space where I believe that MSMEs were not really thinking about too much earlier. but now it has come into their radar as they're getting onto the journey.
Sure. So how big is the opportunity for Vodafone Idea in the MSME segment? Because previously it used to be just the connectivity, but now you could upsell various services, security, cloud, and payment options are there. So how big is the opportunity for a telco like Vodafone Idea in the MSME sector?
In terms of sizing, without getting into specific numbers, Danish, I would say that the growth vector on MSME is one of our key priorities, strategic priorities for V business over the next 3 to 5 years. And it is written on two planks, or I would say both, which is the current portfolio of products and propositions that we've had, and we've had a long engagement from an erstwhile merger point of view from both the companies prior to the merger. We have been engaging and dealing with SMEs for over a decade now. So along with the current product portfolio, I think some of the emerging product portfolio of cloud solutions, security, and also collaboration tools, these are 3 or 4 new kind of vectors of engagement that clearly presents a big opportunity for us.
I'm interviewing a Vodafone Idea executive on the enterprise front after a long time. So it is pertinent for me to ask like how the enterprise business has changed for the company and which are the new focus areas, if there are, if you could explain.
I think it is only fit to start this conversation to say that, look, if you look at the heritage of both the erstwhile organizations and brands, we have been very dominant, in fact, in many spaces between the two brands, and also our heritage with the Vodafone Group and the expertise that they bring from an enterprise solutions point of view across the world. We've been very dominant in this space, whether it is our relationship with large enterprises or whether it is government or whether it is small enterprises. Currently, if you see, all the current product portfolio solutions themselves have big growth opportunities. Even something as simple as connectivity solutions. Today, many smaller organizations have opportunity for going for mobility solutions which have relevant add-ons from an organization point of view. So from a B2B point of view, we believe that there is opportunity to grow mobility and connectivity solutions, which are the foundational kind of elements. The second piece is intermediate product solutions like say business communication. Now business communication, we were selling a lot of fixed line business that is moving to an IP-fied communication and business communication, and organizations and enterprises, both large and small, are going for what is called SIP and SIP ranking, which is on the IP layer. And we business was one of the first to have launched a managed SIP service in this country a couple of years ago. So elements of looking at our current traditional portfolio and evolving them basis the customer's needs is, I think, one key pillar of growth. And then, of course, there are a couple of the new portfolios that we have spoken about, and we've spoken about in our larger conversations also, in terms of cloud and security, which I think are slightly more at an evolving phase, but definitely those are important vectors for growth.
Sure. And the company recently forayed into the advertising business. So that is one new area where the telco is currently focusing on. So while advertising is one growing area, which are the other areas which could be of importance to Vodafone Idea if the company is looking at those segments seriously? If you could tell maybe the adjacencies or the newer areas in the enterprise space which you think could be relevant.
Yeah, so Danish, we believe that our portfolio strategy and our product proposition strategy will always be led by how the customer needs are evolving. And we would always be anchored within our core areas of expertise. So building on that, as I mentioned, so if you were to talk about that, look, there is core connectivity solution that as a telco I provide, I can take that from an internet lease line into creating value out of internet lease line with security. So we now have a very robust portfolio of DDoS services, firewall cloud services that we are offering bundled into our internet lease line kind of offering. So broadly, if you look at the core foundational products, what are the relevant customer needs, which dials back into the core, that becomes our way forward. The consumer, the ad service that you spoke about is within the organization being led, not currently within the enterprise space. It is led more by the consumer business. So I would not be able to expand on it in greater detail. But of course, these are all exciting opportunities for us from a future growth point of view.
Sure, sure. And how are the needs of large enterprise customers changing in India? Like obviously, they were the first ones to go for the digital transformation when the pandemic started. So now we are like more than 2 years into pandemic. Are there newer needs that your experiences and requirements coming from them?
I would say that while we talk about the needs which are changing, I think I would just want to kind of preface it with some of the needs which are not changing. And those are the conversations that I have with the different CXOs when I engage with them. The fact that, in fact, some of them which have dialed up even further, the cost pressures and the pressure on any organization or large enterprise today to ensure that business efficiency is driven through use of technology as and where relevant, cost optimization, security. Those were key focus areas for organizations previously, and I think they continue to do so, if not more, because of rising trends of cybercrime and organizational cyber attacks, etc. So I would say that there is a big conversation to be had of some of those elements which have not changed but actually have come more to the front. I think in terms of change or evolution, I would say clearly the one space is more and more applications of large organizations also going onto the cloud, and therefore they wanting to have relevant partners, whether it is cloud as an infrastructure. So like we have a service of IaaS, infrastructure as a service, and I think that it's of course a space which has many other players also. So that clearly is one big mega trend. And apart from that, these are the other factors which we see are getting more and more important as organizations are moving on to the cloud.
What about Internet of Things, IoT as a business? The company previously ran trials when it comes to NB IoT. So what is the update? Are there like commercial services, commercial projects ongoing? And if yes, what are the other areas where the company is focusing and trying to grow the IoT as a business?
Thank you, Danish, for asking this and leading the conversation. As you are possibly aware that the erstwhile brand Vodafone and today also Vodafone Idea, we were the leaders. In fact, we practically were both the market leaders and thought leaders in this space of Internet of Things and IoT, and we continue to be so. And one proof point of that is that beyond just connectivity and an IoT platform, We Business was the first telco last year to have launched integrated IoT. So just to refresh, integrated IoT is a end-to-end play that we offer, where along with, of course, the connectivity and the network, the hardware, the analytics, and the post-sales in-life support ecosystem is also managed by We Business. So we have three vectors on that: smart mobility, smart infrastructure, where we have different solutions for these. So integrated IoT and also in connectivity, we are very much leading the front on this.
Previously, the company, not long before, the company coined the term telco, where they wanted to become a telco from being a telecom operator. So is it the strategy that the telco is still following? And if yes, which are the additions? How this whole strategy of for being a telco shaping up for Vodafone Idea?
Absolutely. So we continue to be committed to our strategy of moving from telco to techco. And as we have stated out in our different public statements and our strategy also, that this is what we see as a journey. And some of the key elements of that journey is to say, and as I mentioned previously, that from a We Business point of view, a pure telco providing a certain set of core services which are foundational, and then basis customer needs, if we evolve our elements of service into relevant value adds, and also get into some of those new age vectors that I spoke about, whether it is security or cloud as a service, those are all components of our journey of becoming a techco. And I also believe that becoming from a telco to techco is not just from the products and solutions that we offer, but it is also about the customer experience and the digital experience that we have started now offering even internally how we create some of those capabilities. So today, as a V Business customer, you would be engaging with us with a state-of-the-art tool that we call V Business Management VBM portal, which is a self-service tool which offers a very tailor-made experience to all the customers' needs. So the point being that there are different elements from having those relevant product vectors to the digital service experience, which constitute what we believe is the journey from telco to techco.
Sure, sure. Last year, the company showcased a lot of 5G use cases, both in the B2C and B2B space. So in the B2B space and the enterprise space, how do you see 5G the technology becoming an enabler? How do you see 5G playing a role for a telecom operator in the enterprise space?
Yeah, and I believe you were there with us in Pune, Danish, and you saw some of those use cases. So at our end, at We Business, we believe in the partnership model, and we have a set of world-class partners with whom we are developing use cases, we are testing proof of concepts, and we have our strategy in place of, when 5G becomes more of a on-ground reality, in which is the situation that we would look at. It is a bit difficult for us, or at least for me, to predict in India which would be the use case which would go in first. Broadly, if we were to take some global benchmarks and some global learnings, a few use cases which are more driven by 5G IoT in Industry 4.0, in robotics and manufacturing, have typically seen traction earlier than maybe some others. Fixed wireless access, 5G FWA, is clearly another use case that we have seen. So it is not to say that India would follow the exact same path, but without a crystal ball, if I was to hazard a guess, that broadly these are some of the spaces that we will see action possibly before, but clearly it will have opportunities and use case across the board.
And is private networks a large opportunity for a telecom operator, given that 5G offers network slicing as a feature, which would be a key component to offer a seamless service to an enterprise?
Look, it seems also that the element of private network is pretty much in the active domain of consideration, and I see a lot of news and sound bites around that. Once again, there are different experiences that we have seen in different markets of how private networks have shaped up. In some markets, enterprises have really taken to it, and in some markets they have not. We believe that the initial use case would be largely driven more by larger organizations which have more captive requirements. The mass proliferation could possibly be a bit more on the longer time frame. Once again, difficult to put a dollar value to it, but in our understanding, it would definitely be an area where we would be fully positioned to participate in it in a meaningful manner. As you are aware, we have a marquee proof of concept, a trial test happening with L&T as we speak. So we would be ready to participate in it as it evolves and as it shapes up.
How important partnerships are for Vodafone Idea for the enterprise business? Because be it the connectivity, the bouquet offering that you bring to MSME or for startups, and Google Cloud you just mentioned, how important those partnerships are across various verticals, and how would it help you to grow your business in the domain?
So partnership model is clearly the broad strategic model as an organization that we have taken versus all kinds of captive requirement. So that definitely is an important area for us. What we believe is that we also have the right organizational DNA to bring value to partnerships and also to manage partnerships. So I would say that it is a critical component for us, and it's something that we kind of have tested and possibly done well in different areas of our solutions and offerings.
So among all the business areas, which one is growing much faster? Is it the large enterprises, MSME, or is it the startups? Which vertical you see growing for your enterprise business?
At this point of time, what we are seeing is a strong recovery across the board. And it, I think, has to do with the fact that most organizations across size of revenue, have realized that in a post-pandemic world, broadly, our telcos enterprise business flows from customer demands when they want to spend on connectivity, they want to spend on collaboration, security, and of course, mobility. So these are all elements on which enterprises, which possibly had muted their spends during the pandemic and during the closure, are kind of reviving back. So we see currently a strong growth momentum across the board. As I mentioned, that from a longer term play, it's not an either or, but we believe that the MSME sector is a very exciting sector for us, and there's a lot to be done, both for us and overall from a digital India point of view also. So that continues to be a very important sector for us.
Any last concluding comments? Any area on which I may have missed while missed asking the question?
No, I think it is very interesting and useful to have this conversation, Danish. And at We Business, we believe that we are here to partner with our customers, and the Ready for Next program, I don't think it is just from a sales point of view, but the way we are looking to engaging with them and get into a business advice and partnership, that would really be a model that we believe very strongly in, and looking forward to engage with the customers going forward.
Sure. So on that note, let's conclude this. Thank you very much, Arvind, for taking out time to do this session. And it was an insightful one where we got to know a lot about the company's evolving enterprise business and the focus on MSME. Thank you very much once again, Arvind.
Thank you so much.